Who will be the 2022 overall Strongman Champions League winner? So Auntie Liz, Strongman Champions League, these contests take place all over the world and the athletes accumulate points to get to the finals. 10 athletes are in the finals, the top 10 athletes, or it goes down the list obviously if people are missing. And then they have 2 athletes from the home nation, which in this case is Turkey.
That's right. So the final this year is taking place over 2 days on the 5th and 6th of November, and it's 6 events in total. And there, like you said, top 10 so far this year, and then 2 wildcard entries from the host country. So the way the scoring system works is, so far, the league leader, Kelvin de Ruyter, has 108 points. But what that's going to mean in the final is that he will start with 12 points. The guy in second place behind him in the overall standings, Ivers, will start with 11. So it's kind of like they've already done an event and Kelvin won that event.
Okay, so that's the reward for the consistency over the year. If you've competed at the most shows and you've accumulated the most points, you go into the finals as if you've won an event.
Exactly.
Ivers in second place, etc., down to the 2 local lads are going to have to start at the bottom.
They will, yeah. So it doesn't make it impossible for the lower ranking guys to actually go and win this, but it does make it harder.
It's quite good as well because you can't just turn up to every single show and come sort of mid-table or 5th, 4th and win overall. You need to be winning shows and you need to have built up that advantage and then win the finals.
Yeah, and let's face it, when it comes to the final, the best guy's going to win anyway, aren't they?
We'll see.
So those are the athletes, but as we know, it all depends on events and having the right set or something like that. So shall we take a look at the 6 events that they're going to be doing in this competition?
Let's take a look. So the athletes are starting off with a truck pull, harness and rope truck pull. Great event for Kelvin de Ruyter. He's going to be looking forward to starting off the competition with that one.
This is a perfect start for Kelvin, especially when you consider that he's going in first place like he already won an event. And we don't really see Kelvin not win truck pulls. So I would expect this to be like a perfect
arguably
start.
the best truck puller on the planet.
Event number 2 is really interesting sounding. It's marble blocks overhead. So I'm thinking, is this like a block press?
It's very much a block press, like a stone press overhead. I've seen it a couple of times before. They're usually, they're kind of cut out of marble.
Nice.
Funny shapes, sometimes very different shapes. I've seen it at World's Strongest Man before where they had like a triangle, a square, a circle.
Oh, really?
So a little bit awkward. Very useful if you've got experience on the kit. You need to be able to adapt and figure out where your hands need to be. A little bit harder than just pressing a barbell or a log because they can be quite narrow, wide, they vary. It's one of those that the athletes are going to have to think about, and it doesn't always mean the best presser is guaranteed to win here.
See, I can see Ivers doing well on an event like this because he's a really smart strongman. He always gets the absolute best out of himself, doesn't he, and figures things out.
Absolutely.
Now, the description on event number 3 confused me slightly because it says natural atlas stones, and you quite rightly pointed out, well, that's just atlas stones, because what's a natural atlas stone?
Natural atlas stones are a bit like the original McGlashan stones. So they're cut out of rock,
rather than
filled like in a mould.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's what it is, but essentially it's atlas stones.
But it's quite a heavy run. The heaviest stone in this run is 220 kilos.
Good luck with that, guys.
So the first event on day 2 is going to be the car deadlift for reps.
And an interesting competition when you look at the athletes, no monster deadlifters there.
No.
And Kelvin suits a car deadlift more than a standard deadlift, particularly if it ends up being a side handle deadlift.
Right.
Ivers is a solid deadlifter. Gav Bilton is probably on paper
one of the best,
maybe the biggest deadlifter there.
Yeah.
I know Dennis in his prime was a very good deadlifter. Let's see what kind of shape he's in as well.
So event number 5 is an old classic, the Conan Circle. It's something we see a lot in like more European shows, isn't it? Not really UK or USA, but I like a Conan's wheel.
Yeah, Conan's wheel it's a brutal event, to be honest. It's an event that obviously favours fitter athletes. Darren Sadler was always amazing at these type of events, and I've seen some great performances on Conan's in the Champions League before.
Any thoughts on who this might suit?
Hard to pick who it might suit, but I think someone like Ivers, again, he's just tough and determined. I think someone like Irvin Toits could be good on this as well.
I was thinking Irvin too. He's a good shape for it, isn't he? Finally, event number 6, they are finishing on a loading medley with sandbags up to 150 kilos.
So nice, brutal event to finish with. Sandbag loading is becoming really popular right now. Yeah. But when I was competing, it was like 120 kilos. Now they're going up to 150, 160 sometimes. These sandbags are big, they're brutal. The athletes are going to be tired. Tough way to finish the show. I tend to think these big sandbags do suit bigger guys. So guys like Mika Toro, Gav Bilton perhaps, and Kelvin should be handling these bags better than the shorter, compact athletes.
So all in all then, like when you look at the slight advantage going in and you look at the events, it looks quite tasty, I think, for Kelvin de Ruyter, but there's a couple of events there, like the marble press overhead, that, I don't know, maybe that will throw a spanner in the works, because I think Ivers will be consistently good, but maybe not like
when you look at the events, you think Kelvin has better standout events.
Yeah.
Maybe Ivers' consistency can kind of get him across the board. Yeah. What kind of shape is Gav Bilton in? Mika Toro looks good on a lot of these type of events.
I mean, Gav's got an uphill climb, hasn't he? Because he's going to be so disadvantaged compared to like a Kelvin who's already in first place.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I'd be looking between Kelvin de Ruyter, Ivers Schmuckstelis. They're the top 2.
Yeah, I think
Irvin Toits is still within touching distance. And Danis Sagaris, in his prime, was a hell of a strongman. He's still going to be dangerous.
I love Danis.
And he'll be working hard. And even Mika Toro, he's got some very good events in there. It just depends on shape when it comes to these shows and these athletes. Who is in shape at the time? I think right now, Kelvin and Ivers are the 2 that are going to battle it out for this one.
I think so. If you had to put some money on it, Lozzie, £100, well, who's your money going on?
We having a bet between us?
God, no.
We
can if you want.
I wanted to take your money.
It's a joint account.
Well, as much as I love Ivers, I have to pick Kelvin for this event. I think the advantage he's got going into this and looking at the events, I think Kelvin's going to take the win.
I will take that bet. I'm sticking by our man, Ivers Schmuckstelis, for the 2022 Strongman Champions League champion.
As always, guys, let us know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win? Do you like the format of this show? The fact that they've had to build up that advantage going into it across the year. It's an interesting format. Great opportunity, the Champions League, for new athletes to be seen and get an opportunity to compete at the highest level. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you follow Champions League, and we'll see you guys next time.